reserve a seat. 561-674-9800. 561-674-9800. That's 561-674-9800.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Ask the Experts Show with local celebrity hosts Steve-O and Renee. Sit back each week while Steve-O and Renee educate you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O and Renee with today's expert in their field.
Hey, we're on beautiful Boca Raton, Florida. You've got the award-winning Steve-O and Renee. We just won an award about 3 months ago with New Times as Best AM Personalities. We must have had a family member or something for us to become the best personality, AM personality. But I'm really excited today. We have got a new show. And overall, it's anti-aging, but we're going to learn a lot of things about hormones today. And we have one of the top clinics here in South Florida. I've actually got a doctor with me. It's not just a employee. I've got doctor owner Marty Bloom. Hi, Marty.
Good afternoon.
This is new for you? Have you done this before?
I actually did this, but many years ago on a show for cardiology with the fire department called The Burning Issues.
Wow. Here in South Florida?
Here in South Florida, actually on South Dixie Highway, but I think further north.
Well, the name of your clinic is called BioStation. You're located in Delray, but I'm sure we go all the way up as far as Jupiter and Stewart, and we go down as far south as Aventura. So most important is you've got to have the right clinic. It is so important. These people who Google something this important drives me crazy. So first of all, we want to hear about yourself and your practice.
Well, I have been practicing medicine for probably 40 years.
You were a cardiologist.
I'm a cardiologist. I actually did all my training in Miami. I came up to Boca Raton in 1978. I opened up an office, and I was at that same place until, I guess, 4 years ago. So I had a sort of late midlife crisis.
Because you were a teacher.
Yeah.
A chemistry teacher.
Well, I was a chemistry teacher. That was another life. And I did teach medical students up until about 2 years ago. Actually, I taught the medical students from FAU and before that, University of Miami.
What made you open a biostation?
Well, it's a very interesting thing. You know, I practice cardiology and I practice traditional cardiology. I went by the book. I used pharmaceutical. And what I started to do was integrate some of the vitamins, minerals, supplements, and hormones into my practice. And I found that it was difficult to learn that.
Was it hard to break that mold?
It was
going from pharmaceutical to
it was
supplements?
very difficult to learn to do that. And I took a lot of heat from my contemporaries as well. Like, what are you doing? Now a lot of them now say, well, what are you doing and how can I learn to do that? But what I did was I found the A4M.
What is that?
A4M is the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine.
Oh, okay.
And do you know where it's located?
Right down here in South Florida.
Right down here in Boca Raton on
Amazing.
Military Trail.
You're kidding.
It's right here is their headquarters. And so I contacted them and I started to take coursework. And it took me a long while to do the coursework because I would take these 3 and 4 day courses all over the country. You know, I went to Orlando, to Miami, to Boca Raton, to Boston, to Dallas, to LA, to Las Vegas, to San Francisco. And I went all over where they have the coursework, and I finally completed all of the necessary coursework. And then they have an exam, like most societies. They have an oral exam, which is a 3-hour exam. And then they have they have a written exam for 3 hours. And they have an oral exam for an hour.
So what did you learn? What is the difference between traditional medicine and integrated medicine?
Well, first off, it's much more open, and in which I use a lot of supplements and a lot of vitamins, and I do use hormone. So we're indicated. I actually do more lab work now than when I did cardiology, and I did extensive lab work then. The other thing is, in traditional medicine, things are normal and abnormal. So if they're normal, you're normal, and if you're not, you're abnormal. In integrative or functional medicine, the goal is to optimize the functions of the body. So yes, I still have normal and abnormal, but I have optimal. To give you an example of that, vitamin D is a big thing today, big craze, and it should be.
And tell everybody what vitamin D does.
Well, vitamin D is involved in more than 100 chemical reactions in the body. It's involved in bone metabolism. It's involved in muscle metabolism. It's involved in the heart muscle. It's involved in healing. Approximately 4 months ago, there was an article, I believe in the Journal of Sports Medicine, which I don't read, but I read the crux of the article. But a study was done by the team doctor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what he did was he followed vitamin D. So he did D levels in the players.
Large dosages?
No, he didn't give them dosages.
Okay.
He did blood work on them.
Oh, okay.
And he monitored their vitamin D. And his conclusion was the following, that the players who had the lower Ds seemed to get hurt more often than the lowers with the higher Ds. He also found that when he looked at the subset of players that got injured, those with the lowest Ds took longer to get back to play. So I believe that now every sports team is now looking at vitamin D and supplementing it. Do we supplement people with vitamin D? Yes.
Okay.
So if you look at vitamin D and you take, you go to any lab, you can go to Quest, LabCorp, Access. All of the labs have a normal value. Now, most of them take vitamin D as being normal from 30 to 100. There got to be a difference between a level of 31 and a level of 99. But if you go to a doctor's office and your level is 34, he says, well, you're normal. So in functional medicine, you try and figure out what is an optimal level for the average person. My optimal level for vitamin D is between 60 and 80.
Okay. So you use supplements with that?
I use
what about
supplements.
Diet?
I use supplements for that. Diet works, but it takes a lot of dairy for that. And most people don't do well with dairy, either because of the cholesterol or because they don't do well, their gut doesn't do well with lactose. So I tend to supplement with vitamin D and either supplement with pills or injection, depending on the individual.
Now, your clinic does a lot of hormone replacement therapy. What's the age that you can start that at?
Well, hormone replacement therapy, in terms of supplement replacement therapy, you can start out as a child and make sure that everything's optimal. In terms of hormone replacement, well, it varies tremendously. For example, this I don't do, but let's talk about growth hormone. Growth hormone is a pharmaceutical drug. It is synthetic, and it's used. You can buy it. I can write a prescription for it. You can take it to the pharmacy, and they'll get it for you if it's available.
Dangerous?
Well, it's not something to just be used casually, but the FDA approved growth hormone for children. So if you have a child who's on the low end, the 10% growth, and they're not progressing normally, then you can start them on growth hormone.
And actually works?
Oh, yes, it absolutely works.
So if maybe a child is short, or if that's the right word, growth hormone could help them with
Oh, yeah, we'll put
height?
I have one particular case where it put 4 inches on the child.
Wow.
So
And it's safe. Growth
if you're-
hormones are safe.
If everything is safe if it's used properly,
Okay.
and nothing is safe if it's not used properly.
But you know how to prescribe it, though. You're a doctor.
Yeah, I don't do pediatrics, but yes, I do.
Okay.
So do we have people on growth hormone? I have a few. I have one gentleman who who is a diabetic. He's a type 1 diabetic, and the only thing he can really use for that is growth hormone. If he uses the other, for example, I use an amino acid, a peptide called Simorlin, his sugar goes out of whack. So I have to give him growth hormone in order to keep his growth hormone levels in
What about
adequate ranges.
people with high blood pressure? Do you treat people with high blood pressure?
I do.
And can you do it with supplements?
Well, I do. I do it. Actually, the major the major thing that I use for high blood pressure is magnesium.
Okay.
Now that's been around
Forever.
a long
Yes.
time. You know, women who go into preeclampsia or eclampsia receive magnesium IV in the hospital because their blood pressures just accelerate dramatically. So magnesium has been around for a long time, and there are various types of magnesium. I generally use chelated magnesium because I can use smaller doses and it absorbs better that
Now,
way.
it's chelated. Is that over the counter? Is that a supplement?
You can get it. It's a supplement. Sure,
Okay.
you can get it over the counter.
And tell me now, with your clinic, tell me the type patients you're treating now. First of all, men and women both.
I treat men and women both.
And about what age group?
I would say the average age of my patient now is about 40.
Okay.
I actually have some patients in their 80s, but there aren't a lot of them. And I have some patients in their 20s.
I heard that you can have, hate to skip around, but you can have low testosterone in your 20s. I thought that was only for people who were older, that their testosterone would go down.
No, it is true. The average person peaks their testosterone at the age of 33.
That surprised
Growth
me.
hormone peaks at 24. But you do have patients, I have patients that are in their 20s that have low testosterone. Why? Well, some of them unfortunately went into gyms as 16 years old or 15 years old, and some guy comes over to them, the typical Magilla gorilla with, "Kid, you want to look like me?
Right.
I'm going to sell you this stuff. You know, you take this shot in this backside and that shot in the other cheek, and you're going to look like me." And they do, except that they end up with no testosterone that's functional after that. Then you have people, I have
But can that ever be built back up again?
sometimes, but not always.
That's not good.
Not always. I also have young people who have been on various drugs for long periods of time. And although I can't say to you it's this drug that did it, they have no testosterone.
Wow.
Then there are people who, we're covered with toxicities. I mean, we eat toxic agents every day. And a lot of those toxicities get to levels where you're no longer functioning correctly.
Do you treat menopausal women?
Yeah,
Okay, because
absolutely.
I bet you we have a lot of menopausal women. We're going to go to break right now. When we come back, I want to talk about menopausal women and how you're treating them.
Sure.
We're here with Dr. Marty Bloom. Name of his company, his clinic is BioStation. We'll be right back.
The BioStation is an advanced total wellness and anti-aging medical practice dedicated to helping patients restore balance, defy age, and prevent age-related diseases. All testing and treatments at the BioStation are custom tailored to each individual, and the entire experience is highly personalized with the assignment of a patient advocate for each client. The BioStation's experienced medical team is led by Martin G. Bloom, MD, a practicing cardiologist for over 40 years and functional medicine expert. Dr. Bloom will meet with you to discuss your medical history and lifestyle, review any testing in detail, and create an individualized treatment plan designed to get you results. For a limited time only, get a free B12 injection and $100 off your personal wellness plan. Call 561-257-6974 or visit hrt.thebiostation.com.
We're just talking here about menopausal women. I have one at home myself. Boy, they get cranky. So we're here with Dr. Marty Bloom. His clinic is called BioStation. They're in Delray. And I'm telling you, even if you're in South Florida, I'm telling you, you're going to hear this every month. Marty's got his show here, and we're going to find out the other way of practicing medicine because, you were talking about pharmaceuticals. I personally love supplements. I have gotten, to me, more benefit and I feel safer by doing supplements than I do with pharmaceutical. Now, maybe I do take blood pressure medicine, but maybe I don't even need to be on that. Maybe I can just do magnesium. But you treat women with menopausal problems.
Yeah, menopause is a huge problem.
Believe me, it is.
I really feel I've never had a menstrual cycle, and I'm glad I didn't have any hot flashes. Although there are men that have hot flashes as well.
Now, what is it called for men? It's not
andropause.
That's right. Okay.
But menopause is a huge problem. I mean, if you go to bed at night and halfway through your night you wake up because your night clothes are soaking wet,
right,
and you have to get up and change, it's not fun. If you're if you're in an air-conditioned building and all of a sudden you break out in a sweat and have a hot flash and you're fanning yourself and everyone else looks at you like you're crazy. And it interferes with their lifestyle,
Exactly. Her doctor said 2 years after her last period, no more menopausal. That was 8 years ago.
Well, that may be true. Some women who, when you have hot flashes and night sweats, it's because the hormones are jumping up and down. And after a period, they just burn out. And
8 years, a long time.
Yeah, 8 years is a long time of burnout. So in that respect, you could say, yeah, eventually you'll get through this. But then you're left with other problems. You're left with low libido. You're left with low energy. You're left with increasing weight, usually belly and thighs.
So for a woman, that's horrible.
Well, it's not so great for a man either.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're left with an increased incidence of osteoporosis and fractures and the dowager hump that women get. And these are all things which typically people tell them, well, it's part of aging. You get old. It's part of life. And it doesn't have to be part of life.
There's got to be a better answer to that.
Yeah. That's wonderful, but why do you have to have that? I mean, who wants that?
So tell me, so if you have a patient comes in who's still going through menopause, the sweating, the weight gain, the irritability, how do you treat them?
Well, we start out with a traditional approach. It's called the history and physical.
Okay.
So I sit down, I take your history, I do your physical. Okay? We've also obtained lab data. The lab data, depending on what we're doing, is anywhere from 6 pages to 18 pages. And then, well, not you, but the menopausal woman, the patient will sit down with me, and we'll go through the labs. And we'll go through them line by line, and we eventually get to, because I don't just do, here's your daily hormone, have a good day, come back in 3 months. I go through everything. I mean, I do what I've always
You do a
done.
complete workup.
Yeah, for all this time, I do your blood count. I do your chemistries. I look at your sugars. I do your hemoglobin A1C. I do your
Triglycerides, probably.
Oh, I do your full cholesterol panel. I do a full thyroid panel. I look at your liver function studies, your kidney function studies. I look at your adrenal glands. I look at your pituitary gland. And I do look at your endocrine panel or your sex hormones. And we go through them, and usually what I find in a menopausal woman is that they're low. And the best thing to do is balance them. You know, when you bring them back up and you balance them, and you can do that in women, I generally do it one of two ways, depending on what they want, is I'll use transdermal creams.
Okay, topicals.
Which work very well. Or I use pellets.
Really? Are those inserted under the skin?
They are inserted. And it's a procedure. But the nice thing about pellets is when in a woman, they last approximately 4 months. So you're not putting on creams in the morning and putting on creams in the afternoon. You put the pellets in and you're done.
I think I'd rather do the pellets. Why would someone do a topical instead?
Because they're afraid of doing this or they're afraid of doing that. You know, everybody has their own thing.
Because I heard the pellets don't hurt at all.
Well, I wouldn't say they don't hurt at all. You're anesthetized.
Easy for me to say they're not doing it to me.
No, we do it to men.
Okay.
Men, we use testosterone.
Is it painful?
I don't think so.
Okay. And I'd heard it wasn't painful.
You know, what you do is you anesthetize the area with lidocaine or xylocaine, which is the same thing that the dentist uses. You make an incision, but the incision is a vertical incision instead of a horizontal incision. And the incision is, I don't know if you can see
Where
this.
Where's the incision at?
Well, in men, we usually use the love handle.
Okay.
And in the women, we use the buttocks.
Okay.
So we make a tiny incision, and we have an instrument called a trocar that helps me put the pellets in. I pull it out. The incision is, I don't think it's probably 1/8 of an inch.
Not real noticeable.
No, it's not noticeable at all. And we don't use stitches to close it. We use Steri strips, which is an adhesive.
Right.
And then you're good to go. You can get off the table and do pretty much
and
what you want.
And it lasts for 4 months?
Yes.
Okay. So they come in about every quarter to have this done, or every 4 months to have this done. Is this something you continue doing?
For as long as you want to, yes.
Okay. Listen, if it's going to get rid of even half of this, my fiance would love it.
No, I think in terms of night sweats and hot flashes, I'm fairly confident that I can get rid of those.
That's one, and doesn't really matter what age group.
And it doesn't matter what age group.
Okay.
I mean, you usually don't have hot flashes at 30.
Now, on supplements, you said you were just talking about for high blood pressure. If you're doing anti-aging, and that could mean a lot of different things. It could mean sexual. Do you, with the sexual, is that an insert of a pellet too? Or is that
Well, if I balance
a supplement?
If I balance your hormones, I'm not going to give you something to, where you're going to, I'm not sure what word we can use on the radio, but I'm not going to make you a raging bull. That's not my interest. My interest is to make you normal. And sexual health is something that you should normally have. And there's no reason because you're 40 years old, hey, you had your 20s and your 30s, now you're 40. And then when you become 50, what do you want? As my mother of blessed memory once told my father, we had plenty of that then, and then was then, and now is now.
I got you.
But that doesn't have to be.
I know there's people out there thinking right now about, like, there's Cialis out there, there's the blue pill out there. Do you ever give a prescription out for that?
Of course.
Okay. What else do you do? The pellets?
We do the pellets, we do the creams, we do pills, we do.
So someone who's coming in for the first time, where do you start them off at?
Well, that depends on them. If they have a thyroid issue, we go into the thyroid.
Again, you're going to have all the blood work in front of you.
Yes.
So no matter what your symptoms are, you're going to have a complete workup with your blood work.
Oh, that's exactly right. Yeah, no one gets out without that.
Okay. Do you do your blood work on site or do you send it out?
No, we send it out.
Okay, because some people, and then do you give them the readings?
Well, let me put it to you like this. So,
because I want to know right away what my blood work shows.
Oh, you can draw the blood work here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's not here, but in my office, we do blood work. So we'll draw your blood, but we send it out. It's too extensive to do. Even the lab that we send it to sends some things out because there are only 1 or 2 labs in the country that do certain exams.
Oh, okay. So the blood work, some of the workups have to go out of state?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you're not going to get it all back right away?
No, it takes about a week.
Okay. Give everybody your address.
What is my address?
I can sure tell you what your phone number is. Well, it's like, we have speed dial now, so we never remember our phone number.
I have to look at my card to actually give you my address.
Well, your phone
I think it's 3100 South Federal Highway in Delray Beach. It's in a building called the Latitude Building. It's on the corner of Lindell or Avenue L and Federal Highway.
Okay. So you're between Linton and Atlantic?
No. We're between Linton and Hidden Valley.
Oh, okay. I know where that's at. Your phone number is 561-257-6974. Hey, you might.
Actually, no, that's not the number.
That's the number that's on your website.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Please tell me.
I usually tell people 561-257-2511.
Oh, you know what? You ought to look at your website because that's where we get all of our information from. And you got a beautiful website. There's so much great information on there. And you have a pretty nice little staff.
Oh, I think we're really great.
You have another doctor with you.
I have Dr. Cecilia Lacaya. I've actually known her for years and years. And then I lost contact with her. And she went into integrated medicine much earlier than I did.
And what was she practicing before that?
She's family
physician.
So she had a family practice. She did a lot of the nursing home work, and that gets a little depressing. So she studied also at A4M and took all the exams, and she's been practicing probably for 12 years.
I love what you do. I know you can tell that you love what you do too, because there is integrated areas of medicine. Everything doesn't have to be pharmaceutical. I love that when you come in, that you do full blood work. You don't just make a diagnosis. So the name of your clinic is called BioStation, and their website is www.biostation.com. Wow, 30 minutes goes by fast. But you're going to be with us again next month. Give everybody your address again. You're going to make you pull that card out.
You're going to make me pull the card out again.
Yes. Next time, I guarantee
it's 3100 South Federal Highway.
And give them the phone number again, too.
And the phone number is 561-257-2511.
Okay. So it's Dr. Marty Bloom. He'll be back with us again next month. And we're going to go to break now. When we come back, we've got Tina Lord, attorney Tina Lord. We're going to talk about family law. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
The BioStation is an advanced total wellness and anti-aging medical practice dedicated to helping patients